The opinions expressed in the Out of Depth podcast are individual and do not necessarily represent Spirit Live or Toronto Metropolitan University. Regardless, thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Out of Depth podcast with your hosts,
Isaac Mirar,
Zach Thompson.
Ryan Price.
And Michelle Frank.
Sit back and relax as we go out of our depth.
Hello, boys. How are we feeling tonight?
Pretty
Tonight, we're feeling pretty good, I think.
good. Yeah. I mean, last night was pretty fun, pretty successful.
Yeah, what did we do last night, guys?
We cooked.
We did cook. We cooked hard.
Like actual cooking. Like
Yeah,
we
we
didn't.
actually did cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Some
not
of us
gonna-
didn't cook, but like we cooked. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
we cooked.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I told my family like, oh yeah, I'm going on campus to cook, and they were like, in like the slang way or in like the actual way, and I was like, in both ways, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
because we really did do both.
Yeah.
That's true.
We
That's
did.
true.
It was great. But essentially, me and Mish set out to cook burgers and wedges and just try to make like a good meal. And the other boys,
We did some really scrumptious shrimp tacos.
they were fine. But overall, yeah, it was
What
hard
do you
doing the
mean?
grocery. It was fine. Listen, I rated everyone like a 6 because honestly, our judge, I don't want to say she was biased.
Well-
She was paid off.
Well,
why
we'll
don't
get
we-
to that. We'll
why
get to
don't-
that.
Yeah,
We'll
why
get
don't
to
we
that.
go
We'll
in
get to
order of what
Okay,
happened
okay.
during the day? So it was a warm winter day. It was actually pretty nice.
It was
weather.
like 0 degrees.
Yeah, it was really
It was
nice.
pretty nice.
like 1 p.m. we meet up and we go to Loblaws,
Yeah.
right? To
I
go.
had no idea where Loblaws was. You guys-
How did you? Okay, that was my first question. How do you not know where the Loblaws is?
I don't live here.
It's
I don't.
You-
Okay.
Yes, you do. Both of you live here.
But it's like, okay, then I asked, do you know where the Mattamy Athletic Center is? And you're like, no. And then Abby was like, that's where you go to the gym.
that's crazy. You don't know where the Loblaws is, yet you go to the gym.
You go to
in
the gym-
that building.
In the same building.
Yeah.
It's a little even I know where it was.
I just
but
show up.
And then I told you, yeah, it's on the corner of Church and College. And you're like, where is that? that was, I think, the worst part.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we went grocery shopping, and Mish spent like 15 minutes in the cheese aisle trying to figure
Oh
out what
my
kind of
God.
cheese he wanted.
it's important to
We
get
we
the
were able
right
to get all of our
cheese.
ingredients before you guys were finished choosing your cheese.
No, because there's so many options. Because it's like, because we were making a cheeseburger, right? And so it's like, and the part of the recipe was like mixing cheese into
The patty.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, do you want cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, smoked cheese? There's a lot of options, man.
Yeah, Mish was really trying to like find like the best option. Keep in mind, I was paying for it, so I was like, just pick a cheese. I don't care what it is. 'Cause I want to do feta cheese, but for some reason you have a hate for feta cheese.
Yeah.
Why would you put feta cheese on a burger?
Yeah,
that's
that's
disgusting.
right.
No,
That's right.
I'm very glad you
The
guys
last
did not
recipe,
do that.
the recipe where I got inspired by this, used feta cheese in the
Oh,
burger. It was so good.
No.
It was great. I'll cook for you guys again later. But
Either way, you're saying that you paid for it. I paid for half of it.
you paid for it.
So whatever. I spent time on cheese. This Isak, you were about to get some cheap like white bread for the burger.
it's the-
I was able to convince you to get the brioche buns.
They were
and stuff like that.
$1.50 more, bro.
Dude, they were way
Smaller
better.
50, smaller 50, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, you got to spend more to get better products, you know? And I think that's the reason that we just had such a good burger, you know what I'm saying?
It was.
Okay, we'll get
We'll
to
get
that.
to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to why you guys ruined them.
we had a pretty successful time in the grocery
Yeah.
store. Like we were quick. I had everything prepared. I had a list of everything that we needed, very specific. You know, we weren't mucking around trying to find different types of cheese. But we did it pretty quickly.
Yeah. We got some frozen shrimp and then some other like vegetables and stuff and some tortillas.
All I'm saying is, I think there was like a difference in like strategy going in, because Isak and I, we were really like freestyling it, right? Like we had no recipe, we had no plans, and and it still turned out so good. But you guys like just
Yeah, we came with the whole recipe,
You guys-
and then we had like the shopping list. It was kind of
Yeah.
from the recipe.
Yeah.
So we basically knew exactly what we were gonna do going into it.
It was modified a little bit. Like the recipe was supposed to be for using 2 pounds of shrimp, but we used just under a pound. So like I adjusted like the ingredients list to reflect the amount. I like researched how much shrimp was going to be in the bag beforehand. You know, I had
You
to
did
be
like
prepared.
actual research?
Well, I
yeah,
just
this comes ready,
I
man.
searched the President's Choice shrimp, and then I looked at how much I had in the bag, so I could figure out like how much of the other ingredients we needed.
Oh wait, so you guys got a pound of shrimp, and
Yeah.
we got a pound of beef. You know.
Yeah,
So we had like equal portions of food to work with, essentially.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you guys, how much did you guys spend?
I feel like
40 bucks. $41.
Okay, I think we spent like $25. So we were like,
I thought
Yeah,
you
it was
spent $35.
No, I think that it ended up being $13 each.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you guys forgot. What did you guys forget?
Well, we forgot the salt and pepper, but we also brought back ketchup for you when we went on our little retrieval mission.
Yeah, so basically what we had to do was we had frozen shrimp, right?
Yeah.
So we had to thaw the shrimp. So we put it in like a sink with like a whole bunch of warm water so it would like thaw faster. But while we were doing that, we had nothing to do. So what we did was we intentionally forgot the salt and pepper. So we had to go back to get the salt and pepper.
Oh,
So
see,
we could do something while we were
Yeah,
waiting for our
it was
shrimp.
100% planned.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't an accident.
right, because you planned so far ahead that there's no way that you would make an
Yeah,
accident.
no.
yeah.
And it also
Right.
benefited you guys because you guys got ketchup.
Yeah, and no, we did a similar thing because we forgot a tray, and that's because we planned on smoking up the entire TCC.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to maybe talk about
Yeah.
that?
Hey,
Okay.
Isak, I think you should talk about
Yeah,
that.
okay, so DCC almost got burned down. My bad. I plan to make potato wedges, and I cut them ready.
I cut them too.
You cut them too. You also cut your finger. But I was ready to put them on, and then I realized, oh crap, we don't have a tray. They have tinfoil to put on the tray, but they don't have a tray. And I'm not gonna go bother somebody else in DCC because we already had someone bring us oil. Thank you, Casey. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do here because I've always made wedges in the oven. And so Mish turns to me and he goes, "You want to boil them?" Or like,
Well, I said, because I was like, well, we don't need to bake the potatoes. We could just like fry them with oil and stuff. But we also couldn't like deep fry them because we didn't have those materials. And so what we ended up doing was taking the like slices of wedges, like 3 at a time because it was a very small pan. And we basically just like we flipped it over and we laid it like we were cooking the burgers, you
Yep.
know, just having
Yikes.
one side cook for a minute, flip it over another side.
so long.
So you guys basically tried to deep fry potato wedges in butter in a skillet.
No, it was vegetable oil.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
sorry.
it was
Thank you,
in a
Casey.
skillet without. It was like it was a skillet.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you guys didn't turn the fan on.
Yeah, so here's why it almost got burnt down. So I
It
usually
didn't get almost burned down. There was no fire.
no, there's no fire. But usually I am a better cook than I showed yesterday. I promise.
Wow.
Don't look at me like that. But yeah, so I didn't turn the fan on because I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'm with my buddies. I'm busy recording. I'm trying to be funny for the camera, and we don't turn the fan on. And within 20 minutes, the room is smoky and hazy, and you can see across the room that something is wrong. And so Ryan's like, is there about to be a fire? And I'm worried the fire alarm's about to go off, because if it goes off, I don't even get in trouble. It's Ryan.
It's
for
my
letting-
fault because I signed you guys in.
Yeah, and so I am technically your responsibility if I'm an idiot. So we all had to, like, for 20 minutes, just have to stop cooking, turn on the fans, keep opening the door. And people are walking by and they're seeing, like, the smoke and, like, are they good? And I'm, like, crying. And so we just have to take a 20-minute break to make sure the whole place isn't burned down. It was fine. The wedges weren't great, but it was fine.
Dude, the wedges were delicious.
What
They
are you talking
were
about? And
They
then
were
you guys
horrible.
decided to oversalt your wedges?
Oh, okay. No, Mish.
Wait, so
Go ahead.
So the wedges were done, right? Isak salted and put the salt and pepper on, which was provided by Zach. And I thought it would be funny to just be like, hey, it's undersalted and underpeppered. And so I dumped a lot more salt and pepper onto the wedges, which honestly, I don't even think that's entirely my fault that the wedges were bad, because it's just like, even with all the salt and pepper, if you were to like get rid of that, it would still probably be a little bad.
Yeah, there
They
was
would
there was a
still
couple
be
of them that
trash.
would like a little bit like they were normally salted,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
were still terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Mish put more salt and pepper after I like put way too much already and mixed it together with my hands. And Mish came over and he's like, not enough, because he didn't see me mix it all together. He's like, not enough, and he
Did-
put more.
Did you even like try them to see like how
No,
much?
I
was
tried
already on
them,
there?
but keep in mind, I am pretty tolerant when it comes to salty things. I play online shooters, so like I'm pretty okay with like salty.
Okay.
What? How did that have anything to do with
Salty
that?
people. It was a funny joke. Subscribe. But don't look at me like I'm a bad comedian. But you know, it was not good. You know, it was fine before. Like I thought it was generally fine. Given my taste buds are different than yours.
No, it
Zach
was,
had one and he said it was horrible.
It was so salty. It was disgusting. Like
Oh my god.
it's like it was like taking a McDonald's French fry and then adding like 2 packets of salt on top of it. Like that's just disgusting.
No,
I don't
and
want
the-
that in my mouth.
and the worst part too was that like the potatoes were kind of cooked in a weird way, so they were both burnt and somehow like very flimsy and undone at the same time because the outside would cook faster because it wasn't like deep fried, so it wasn't like crispy or anything.
I was
Yeah.
flash frying those.
I mean, I feel like the cooking process for us went pretty well. We were pretty prepared. I would say we were prepared up until the end, where we maybe rushed putting it together more than we should have, especially with the tortillas at the end. We could have done better with that.
I think the thing with the end is I for the whole time thought that we were gonna do like build your own tacos, and then Zach started building them because I realized that we had to present them to Abby.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of got confused. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm okay. But like basically our whole process was to make the shrimp. We didn't have like a bowl or a bag, or we didn't have a bowl. So what we did was you took the shrimp, we drained out all the water, right, from the thawed shrimp, and then we put all the spices in the bag with the shrimp, and then we just give the bag a big old shake. It actually worked
It smelled
surprisingly
great.
well.
Yeah, it smelled great.
Yeah, the shrimp itself smelled and tasted really good. The spice mixes, the spices we picked were like, they were good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think of the whole like night, the shrimp itself, like as like an individual piece, was
Yeah.
probably the most successful thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, the judging.
Yeah. The judging was, I like, it's an understatement to just say that I disagree with it. I completely disagree with how the judge viewed our dish.
I think most of us actually disagree.
Yeah.
I think we
So,
all disagree.
What
Even the
did what did you guys get your ratings?
So
what ratings we got?
okay, wait. So let's break it down. So basically, while we were cooking, we had a friend of ours, Abby, like record, and then at the end, she basically had a bite from both of our dishes to like rate them, right? So it was rated in terms of plating, like how well we plated just like the food, and then in terms of actual taste and how good the food was. And so that's where the controversy
began.
began. Yeah,
Well, first of all, we weren't aware of how it was going to be rated. I don't know about you, but I just assumed it was going to be on how it tasted. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that presentation was taken into effect until after we served that dish.
Yeah.
yeah.
All
So
a part of my plan.
well, so basically, it started off by Zach and I. We served her a plate, like all fancy and whatnot. And you know, our plate, the burgers, it was so filled. Like we had the burger with the wedges and like a little bit of like ketchup as
And
like
the
a dipping
oil all
sauce.
over the plate.
And the oil, but that added to like the plating. It was really well plated, and you know, their shrimp taco was pretty poorly plated. You know,
I will say though, our plate I did see was bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Because that was the main problem, was that like we
Too
just
much
had, we
space.
basically just had one taco on a plate. That was
Yeah.
it, right? Because we didn't know about plating or anything.
It-
So,
yeah.
but basically our plate was bigger, so we had like it looked empty.
Yeah,
Whereas
and-
your plate was smaller, and you had two things, so you could fill up the whole. plate.
Yours looked like a contemporary art piece, you know?
That's what I thought. I thought it was more like
Simplistic.
modern, simplistic. But Abby did not like that.
But
No.
we,
So-
we weren't actually planning on like individually plating it either until we saw that you guys did that. We were just gonna bring them out all together, and so that's why it was kind of like rushed because we were like, oh crap, they have just one plate. We're not just feeding off of one thing. So then I just like, because originally we had them evenly divided on 2 plates, so I just took all of them off apart from one on the plate. But if I knew that we were being judged on aesthetic, then I probably would have done what Abby suggested to us, which is to add a smear of the sauce on the side of the plate.
The other thing that we brought that you guys didn't was we brought a drink.
Yeah.
We had it was
You want to say what the drink was?
Fanta, right?
No,
No.
Where's
No,
like
no, but,
what's the
like,
drink called?
Yeah, what's the drink really called?
What's it really called?
Fanta.
My mom's gonna hate you guys.
So we had some Fanta, and see, but I was arguing how it shouldn't be ranked as part of your dish because you didn't actually prepare it. It would have been cool because you guys did have like some limes, right? Imagine you made like a lime drink. That would have paired really nicely with it.
It would have.
actually.
I will say though, the orange soda was surprisingly good.
It was
it was.
probably
For,
my
like-
favorite part.
For like some
honestly.
President's Choice, like cheap knockoff Fanta, it was actually like really good.
It's the same
was decent.
thing.
Yeah, it's the
swear.
same thing, just not priced up.
Yeah.
yeah, just cheaper.
It's cheaper. Yeah. No.
The other thing you guys did was your buns.
Oh, let's go. So, obviously, we've already established we got brioche buns, which is obviously the better decision.
Sure.
But the interesting thing that we did was we decided to put the buns on the pan. Now, normally, this isn't that bad of an idea, right? But where we messed up was, we put way too much butter on the pan, so we were just oiling those buns up, and then also we were oiling them.
Why? Okay, my first
were
question
oiled
is
up.
why would you when you're heating up a bun?
Yeah.
Why would you put butter at all?
I meant to put oil. I don't
Maybe-
know. I saw you put butter, even though I told you
I
to put
thought
oil.
you said butter.
Butter,
I said
butter
oil
on one
for the
side,
buns.
maybe.
Oh,
said-
bruh.
But like you maybe put butter on one side, like
Yeah.
the inside.
Yeah, the inside.
But then you guys put butter on the top,
Yeah.
where you hold the bun.
No, I thought
Yeah,
that
no.
I
Which
could have
was
sworn that you
disgusting.
because you also did butter, no?
I probably did butter just like off of habit, but also yeah, no, because usually when I make burgers at home, I don't want just like a soft bun, so I usually want it a little crispy. So I cook the inside and I cook the outside. The thing I forgot is that when I'm home, I don't use the oil to cook the bun. I just put it on the stove and I just let it cook.
Yeah.
That slipped my mind, and you brought it up, and you're like, "Are you sure we're supposed to cook it with oil?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're fine. What's gonna happen?" And then the major criticism that we got for our burger was that it was too oily.
it was like
It was
dripping.
It was disgusting.
No, it was
It was
not
not
disgusting.
disgusting.
Okay.
The amount of oil was
We
like, I
coulda-
mean, your buns were wet.
Yes.
We had
Yeah.
some wet, oily buns. So this is really funny. So for the plating itself, we got an 8.5 out of 10, which
Yeah.
is
Which is crazy.
quite a lot.
All you guys really did was just fill up the plate.
We just filled up the plate because we just had like if you guys put a second taco, it would have probably been the same. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have had a better
Not the
score.
same, but close.
No. You would have had like a better score.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. And then in terms of the taste, oh my god, Ubby was like glazing us. I swear to God, like
She was paid off.
she was like, no. I originally thought that you were gonna get the better score because she kept on saying how your shrimp tastes better and your sauce tastes better and how everything tastes better. And then she gave you half this marks that we
Yeah.
got.
What did you guys get for your
7.5 on
7.5, and we got
Yeah.
like a 3.5.
Yes,
It was
and your plating was a
ridiculous.
4.5.
Yeah.
So your combined score was less than our plating score.
Yep.
And then-
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone then after we were done rating everything,
Yeah.
we then ate the rest of the food because
Yeah.
we didn't want to waste food. You know what I mean? And we
gotta-
were hungry.
Obviously,
we
we
were
were
also
hungry.
very hungry.
Yeah. of
Yeah.
course. That's my first meal of the day.
Yes.
We all agreed that the 3.5 score for the shrimp tacos was a terrible rating.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that I don't even know how she came to that conclusion.
I granted a second bite because I thought she choked on her first bite with you guys. So I was like, okay, I'll grant you a second bite on both sides. She took a second bite of ours and she like low-key hated it, and she liked yours a lot more. So at that point, I thought we were so cooked, and it turns out we like doubled your score, and I was like, that's crazy. Because honestly, yeah, I like in terms of taste, I would give us both a 6. Because honestly, the burgers were not my best work. Like, we're not our best work.
No,
I
yeah,
think
the
much
burgers
more-
were not our best work.
They were not. Like,
Yeah.
Like, yours weren't bad. I'd also give them like a 5 or 6. Plating, like, whatever. Like, that's on me for. Like,
It
not
really
telling you guys
doesn't
about it.
matter, plating.
Like, whatever. Plating was whatever. That's on me for like not telling you guys beforehand. But even then, when at the plating score, it's like what? Like, that was way too harsh. Honestly, 3.5
Yeah,
was too
that's
harsh.
crazy.
I do still think though, like genuinely, if it was just the plain shrimp with the
Yeah.
spices, it would have been better.
It would have
I-
been like a. I think the shrimp itself is like solid 8.
Yeah.
She kept complaining about the tortillas. I think that there's some like PTSD from home with the tortillas. So
Wait, but she did say that though.
She did mention it.
bias judge.
Yeah.
Night. I had a lot of fun yesterday to the point where like I literally dreamt of like the things we just did like last night. Like it was like
Or your dreams are weird.
My
bro.
Yeah, you
Those are
have such
weird.
you have such like literal and like applicable to real life dreams.
Yeah, no, 'cause
it's kind of weird.
I'll expose myself. The night before, I'm not saying names, but the night before, I literally had a dream that like I asked out this pretty girl who I've been eyeing, and like it went well, and I woke up and I just realized it wasn't real, and I was unreasonably sad, and I texted Tiana immediately, and I was like, "This sucks."
Do you lucid dream?
I don't lucid dream. I just have issues.
Nah, dude, I got like so many vivid dreams. I have like 4 whole like notes, like lists of just like my dreams.
That's crazy.
Like even last night, I forgot the dream that I had last night, but I remember that I had a vivid dream. If that makes sense.
Do
know?
you journal?
Yeah,
what you
no,
do?
I like dream journal. If I can remember, then I write down my dreams.
Nice.
That would make like that's probably why you remember them easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the more I because when you write it down, you can write down just like key words, and then
Uh-huh.
you'll just like remember it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you guys ever have those dreams where like you dream and then like a moment and then that moment happens like the next day or a week later and like it's really deja vu, like your dream predicts something like an exact moment, like it could be like
Kind
you're
of,
talking to
yeah.
someone. I've had that like on a weekly basis.
I mean, I sure hope not, because I had like a dream recently about like aliens coming and like destroying everything.
Well,
I mean, it could happen.
It
I was
could.
in downtown, like I was on campus, and then the aliens came and just like
Yeah.
blew up everything.
it was like Jimmy Neutron.
yeah, like
movie.
Jimmy Neutron.
For the people who haven't cooked before, that was like their quote unquote first cooking experience. How was? Will you do it again?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say like we probably should do more cooking. I mean, like I know that you and Zach have, sorry, Isak and Zach, and for the audience, right, have some more cooking experience, but you guys are like also amateurs.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, we're not professional.
No.
yeah, we're no professionals. So like, honestly, it's like it's just good to have like cooking skills.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
Yeah,
100%.
for real.
So
That's what
I
we're-
enjoyed it. We were behind schedule, but that's because we were having fun.
Yeah.
Sue me. So yeah, I would do it again. What about you, Ryan?
I don't like cooking. I think cooking is like terrible. I hate it so much.
Really?
That's why I love having a dining hall because I can just go in and
Oh
get
my
food. Because I
God.
like to eat. I just don't like to cook. You know what I mean? But I did think it was fun. But I think most of that was just because I was cooking with 3 of my friends, so it was like that was the fun part.
Yeah.
But I actually think I gained a little bit of confidence because I realized that like making something like shrimp is actually really easy. You just take your meat, put spices on it, and then cook it basically.
Yeah.
And then maybe do some other little fancy things with it if you want, or it can be basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I like cooking. I mean, I only started cooking just like to gain experience and also so I could put that on the Tinder bio.
Okay.
But
guy.
yeah, no. I mean, I'd be down to. I mean, if the podcast goes well and we want to do a season 2 next year, I'm down to do drunk cooking.
That would be fun.
Or just like on our own time, just do cooking or baking.
Yeah. Also, just like
Yeah.
learn cooking, right? I don't care if you don't like it. Learn to cook. Learn how to cook ramen.
No. What about?
I don't know how to make instant noodles. Okay, I'm a college student.
Yeah.
What do we have in store for next week, boys?
Well, we're doing a little bit of a crazy challenge. A little bit of a overnighter.
Yeah.
A little sleepover with no sleeping.
Oh yeah, hanging with the boys overnight.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
At school.
That's
Oh.
It's
But
fun.
that's for next week's episode.
But that's for next week's episode.
So stay tuned. And how do you end this?
Thank you for listening to the first episode of the Out of Depth podcast. We hope you enjoyed and subscribe so you can stay tuned for next week's episode, and we'll catch you later.